Who could imagine how Noach was feeling at the end of the Mabul, the end of the flood? Almost 1 year inside of the Teivah, inside the ark. The whole world had been destroyed. The waters had come and cleansed the entire universe from all of the evil and the bad that was there. Noach and his family were dedicated inside of that Teivah, inside the ark, for month after month, day after day, hour after hour, putting all of their energies and their efforts into taking care of the animals. And Noach knew that when the flood would be over, there was nobody left in the world besides him and his wife and his children. How did Noach feel? Who could imagine the fear of the unknown? Who could imagine the anxiety that he had trying to figure out what exactly was taking place? Who could picture, as Noach did, what it looked like to maybe peer out of the window that was there and see the floodwaters coming down day after day, wiping out the world? And perhaps that at that moment, Noach himself felt, what's going to be with me? How are we going to rebuild the world? How are we going to start all over again? How are things going to change? And then the verse tells us, Vayiska Elokim es Noach. Hashem remembered Noach. He remembered who he was. He remembered the righteous man. He remembered all the work and all the effort that he put into the animals. He remembered how he saved civilization was going to come through him. After all of the floodwaters, all of the suffering, after all of the treacherous pathways that he went through all of that time, Vayiska Elokim es Noach, Hashem remembered Noach. He didn't forget about him, not for one split second. And so too, this is a beautiful message for us to take with us. We all have the floodwaters of life. We have challenges, we have difficulties, we have hardships. We have moments in our life where it's unclear what exactly is Hashem doing to us. And we begin to lose our faith. And we begin to get weak every once in a while, and we get a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous. And we begin to think, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem, do you remember me? Are you thinking about little old me over here? Are you going to help me? Don't forget. And Hashem remembered Noach, and Hashem remembers you, and he thinks about you, and he cares about you, and he wants only what's best for you, because Kol Madi Ovid Rachmana, everything that Hashem does, it's all for the good. And he never abandons, and he never forgets, and he never leaves us alone. And he's always watching to make sure that we are taken care of and all of our needs are there. So as we go through the patterns of life, as we go through the seas, the stormy seas of life, as we go through the difficulties and the challenges and those defining moments in our life that will help to make us who we truly are, let us remember this most important piece of wisdom from the Torah, and that is, just as we don't forget about Hashem, Hashem never forgets about us. And even when it looks bleak, and even when it looks dark, and even when it looks like there's floods coming in from all sides of the world, always keep this truth in your heart, in your mind, and in your soul. Just as Vayiska Elokim es Noach, Hashem remembered Noach, Hashem remembers you too. And he will save you, and he will help you, and he will lift you up and raise you up to the highest of heights, to the most beautiful of life, with the sweetest, warm, and loving embrace that only our Father in heaven, HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, can give to each and every one of us. Wishing all of you a wonderful Shabbos, a Shabbos in which we understand and we know that whatever is going on in our lives, Vayiska Elokim, Hashem always remembers, and he never forgets. Have a wonderful Shabbos.